Hello there, welcome to a brand new episode of Hala Kuwait. My name is Tareq Alaryan and we're coming to you live tonight from the Ministry of Information studios right here in downtown Kuwait. And I hope everyone out there is having a great evening wherever you may be watching tonight's episode of the program. As usual, the camera crew have been very busy. We have a lot of great reports to get you caught up on tonight's episode. Also, we have some distinguished guests who'll be joining us right here in the studio very shortly. But first off, we'd like to get to our first report this evening right here on Hala Kuwait. And we want to go take a look at the Green Hands environmental team. Let's take a look at them and what they're doing. And very shortly, we'll be joined by some phone calls with some distinguished guests. We'll be taking our guests by phone calls this evening. Stay tuned.
Today we are in Green Hands nursery, long-lasting garden. And we are, as you see here, we are planting all the kind of planet which is very friend and very famous in Kuwait, because we are very interesting about all the kind of the creatures and the planets in Kuwait. Our event today is for ازرع شجرة في حبابة صباح. This is what we call a gift for Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah. What you are looking for in our nursery here, we are caring about the small volunteers. We are doing every weekly on a Friday and Saturday some nice activities, especially for the children, because we are caring about the children and how they are having the really knowledge about all the plants. And we are welcome for everybody. Thank you.
Hello, this is Mariam Deshti from the Green Hands environmental team. Here we are in the nursery of the Green Hands environmental team. We have many activities. For example, every week on Thursday and Friday, we gather children and we teach them how to plant small trees, small plants, and so on. We have also another activity, which is plant a tree in love of late Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah. May God bless him and may rest in peace. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Salman Khan. I am the volunteer of Green Hands environmental team. Today we are here in our small gardens where we having different plants, and normally we are visiting here on daily basis. And recently we organized one blood donation camp at Central Bank Blood Bank Jabriya for the late our Amir Sheikh Sabah Ahmed. And today our Green Hands environmental teams is organizing a lot of different activities like blood donation camps and visiting in hospitals and any kind of activities regarding environmental.
وباء كورونا أزمة عالمية أصابت مختلف قطاعات الحياة، فتغيرت معها ملامح حياتنا الطبيعية، وما كان في الأمس اعتيادي أصبح اليوم مضرا. يبقى سلاحنا في المواجهة الوقاية ووقف الانتشار.
أنا رجل إطفاء. تعاونت مع وزارة الصحة بتوصيل أكثر من 60,000 وصفة طبية. أمنت المستشفيات والمحاجر الصحية. أمنت مستودعات الجمعيات التعاونية والمخزون الاستراتيجي للدولة. شاركت في عملية إجلاء المواطنين. عقمت الشاحنات في المنافذ البرية ومطار الكويت. ورغم هذه الظروف استجبت لجميع الحوادث، ومستمر في حماية أرواح من يعيش على هالأرض وممتلكاته. ثق فيني، فأنا رجل الإطفاء الكويتي.
Well, we're back right here in the studio, and we have a phone call right now with Dr-Mai Alhazzaa. And Dr. Mai is a medical director and clinical nutritionist specialist. Good evening, Dr. Mai.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Dr. Mai, could you please start out by telling us, our audience, about the effects that the current pandemic and the online schooling situation has on students and children in general, please?
Yeah, regarding this issue, it's really critical to notice something that usually the children, they are doing more activities during school, including walking, exercising, and socializing. And their status now, they are always staying at home, social distancing, and at the same time doing the school from online sources. So this will affect their activity at all. It will even limit their walking and even their physical activity in general. In this case, I should emphasize on the importance of the parents to watch this issue, and because it will affect indirectly towards their concentration and their grades in the future. Yeah. Yeah,
it's a bit of a struggle these days with all of this that's going on, but this is for their own safety, and this is the situation that we're in right now, Dr. Mai.
Exactly. This is the thing. It's so important that to keep them safe, but at the same time, the role of the parents to have some activity, a break time in between. Even if they finish their study, they have to take them, if they have a gardening outside the house, or do any physical activity indoors.
Especially now, the weather is getting much better, so you can do a lot of outdoor activities.
Yes, exactly. So I know this is a critical situation, and we should be patient with all of this, with the guidance from the Ministry of Health. And this is a struggle, of course. But their role is to do this thing for their children, to have much more time to check on this issue, that to have more time for their pleasure and even talking to them, because some children, they have even struggles from inside. They don't used to have this lifestyle. This is something new for them.
Dr. Mai, does eating patterns have direct consequences on students and their learning potential?
Yes.
Tell us more.
It has a major effect, and actually, if it's not noticed at this time, it might lead to obesity among children. because now that eating patterns have been changed exactly because they are sitting indoor and doing studying from the internet, and they are having some snacks sometimes in between because they don't have time to sit together with the family. They have to concentrate during these classes. So the eating pattern have been changed, but in a bad way, actually, in a really bad way, because I heard from some of, even from my family members, that they are going towards the unhealthy snacks, including chips and this squeezed juice, which is high in sugar.
Yeah, all of these things are unhealthy, and you're a nutritional specialist. What does, in your professional opinion, constitute a proper nutritional regimen for healthy, child-friendly diet? Give us some details in this answer, please.
This diet should be balanced, including all the major nutritional elements.
Such as?
How can I make it simple? Like,
yes,
for
tell
example,
us.
The mother should have plenty of vegetables, and if the children don't like vegetables, she can cut it in a nice way. For example, they have the cutter for children, but it will attract their eyes. And at the same time, she can cut for them fruits, or directly they can eat fruits. So if they eat plenty of vegetables and fruits, and also no directly made juice, she can make their own fresh juice, or she can give them a snacks in between the classes, like a mixed raw nuts without any additives. Also, she can give them a cake made from oats and whole wheat instead of plain wheat, which is white wheat. And remember to drink plenty of water during the day and night. It will even make a major and positive effect on their concentration, and they have to get rehydrated by drinking a lot of water. This is the simple thing that she can do during the day. And my message for ladies and for women, just to watch their eating and to provide their food, to provide their food to their children during the classes and the online, and to motivate them. And don't bring this unhealthy snacks to the house. So they will not even think about it. They will just, if they are hungry, they will just jump in and take a healthy snack that we already prepared. They will never even think about unhealthy snacks.
Very important information, Dr. May, and we're going to, please stay with us on the line. We're going to take a short break, and then be back with our distinguished doctor. Stay tuned. Well, we're back right here in the studio, and we were just with our distinguished guest, Dr. May, a well-known medical doctor and clinical nutritionist specialist. Dr. May, before we went to that break, we were talking a little bit about nutrition and good eating habits. And you know, many online classes are being held at irregular hours during the COVID pandemic that sometimes interferes with the usual feeding pattern. Any ideas on how parents can counter that and make sure that there's a nice, well-balanced system?
Yes, this irregular hours that now we're facing is during the pandemic is really interfering with the feeding pattern, of course. And my advice is to regulate it. I mean, the feeding, if the mother will prepare the meal, she should arrange it based on the online classes, that she should have a break in between. In the same time, she should prepare it ahead, and then she can provide it to her children. And sometimes the online classes, they can have a break. Sometimes it's like lasting 1 hour, I guess. So for her is to exactly check the timeline for the course and the classes, and then she can prepare the meals and then provide it to their children. So they will not have any interference, because if the children are hungry during their classes, it will affect their concentration. So she should arrange it very well, including drinking water in between.
And Dr. May, so what types of foods, you mentioned earlier, but what types of foods should parents and caretakers prepare for their kids?
For example, during the classes, she should prepare snacks, because there's no time to eat a whole meal. Or she can give them a complete meal which is balanced before the class, such as like a plate, and she will divide it into 2 halves. One half is including vegetables, any kind of vegetables the children like, not necessarily certain kinds. And then the other 2 halves, 2/3, she can put for them a source of protein, because they need protein, and then that diet, including fish, chicken, and beans, also beef or steak, any kind of protein the children like. And then the other quarter, she can add a source of carbohydrates like rice or pasta. It depends on her plan, but she should do it like mixed and very colorful and palatable. Even the child will really like to eat it. This is the thing. It's really challenging for the mothers. I noticed that. But the meals, which is the snacks, the small meals, is different. She can prepare fruits, because in the main course she will not add fruit. She will add only vegetables, so she can have it only as a snack. And mixed nuts, maybe dark chocolate mixed with fruits like strawberries. This is a good snack. Also, she can prepare like oat bowls. She can add a peanut butter with oats, and she can make it like bowls with mixed nuts. It's like an idea. She can do it for them. Or just a glass of fresh juice. Simple like this.
Okay, great. And Dr. May, any additional information you'd like to share with our audience who are watching right now?
Yes. Actually, the diet should be really, the mother should really watch their children's diets, because if she didn't do it, eventually the child will get obesity. And we noticed that most children, they gain weight. I noticed among children around us, and also I heard from my followers and also my patients, they struggle with the gaining weight among their children. So they should take an action from now, because if they have this only stomach, they gain fat around the stomach, by time they might get obesity in the future. And it's so quick, because they have sometimes hormonal changes if they are teenagers. So they should watch this, because they might end eventually to obesity. And the obesity is #1 in Kuwait, and they should know that obesity is now a disease. They should watch it and fight it from now.
Very good information, and we do appreciate your time with us, Dr. May. You're a well-known medical doctor and clinical nutritionist specialist. We thank you, Dr. May, for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Tareq.
Thank you so much.
Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you, too. Have a very nice evening. And right now, we'd like to move on to our next report. and take a look at the emergency medical department right here in Kuwait. Let's take a look at this department and what they're all about. Stay tuned.
تذكر 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 منو خالط تذكر 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 منو خالط وخالد لحالة قيد التقصي الوبائي.
من أجل سلامتكم احرصوا على الالتزام بإجراءات الوقاية من فيروس كوفيد-19، ارتداء الكمام أثناء الخروج، وغسل اليدين بالماء والصابون بانتظام لمدة 20 ثانية، أو استخدام المعقم الكحولي. التزام التباعد الجسدي بينك وبين الآخرين بمسافة لا تقل عن 2 متر. عدم الخروج من المنزل أو مخالطة آخرين إلا في حالات الضرورة. استخدم البطاقات البنكية في معاملات الدفع.
هناك من لا ينام من أجلك. التزم لتسلم أنت ومن تحب. التزم من أجل أن تعيش ويعيش الوطن بسلام. التزم لنعبر هذه المحنة والشدة معا. التزم لتعود الحياة جميلة كما كانت. أرجوك التزم، كلنا مسؤولون.
Well, we're back right here in the studio, and we have a phone call right now with Mr. Osama Yusuf Al-Midhin, and Mr. Osama is the Chief Emergency Medical Technician and spokesperson for the Medical Emergency Department. Good evening, Mr. Osama.
Good evening to you, Mr. Tareq. Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you and always talk with you about the latest. And maybe you could tell our audience what new risks do emergency respondents have to deal with during this period of COVID?
Okay, well, this period of COVID has been a long period, very long period. And the emergency we've been facing lately, it's mostly got to do with the respiratory system. Most of the cases that we've been called for, that's a difficulty breathing, and people with actually chronic diseases and illnesses of respiratory system due to the changes of the climate, the changes of the weather right now, and the season is changing. So, regard of COVID-19 and with their circumstances of being chronic disease patients, they could have a severe respiratory distress. And thus, this is what's new lately with us as an emergency medical services department, and we've been responding to those people who have such an asthma, COPD, any infections of the lungs, and because of the change of the weather, and sometimes they could have symptoms of corona, COVID-19, and that makes it worse actually.
So are there any so that's basically the most noticeable difference in the type of emergency cases received during this period and the pandemic time also?
That's right, yes, Mr. Tareq. Because of, just like I said, because this time right now is the time of the changing of the season, and they have allergy infections and chest infections and other allergies, and they get mixed up with the virus of corona. And if they get affected by that virus, COVID-19, and they are already patient of COPD, which is respiratory diseases, that makes it a lot worse, and that's what we've been dealing with lately.
So, what should be people paying attention to know that there's a resurgence of COVID cases in the past month or so?
Yes, we advise people to keep protecting themselves and keep making sure that they don't get mixed up with other people, and keep the distance, the social distance and body distance, and the gathering. Lately people try to go home with their kids and their elderlies, and they have a big gathering. And those kind of gatherings right now, I advise them to lessen these gatherings or stop these gatherings right now until the weather at least settled. You know what I'm saying?
So how do you, there's a lot of people still, how do you deal with the crowds during an emergency? And are there any special protocols implemented during the pandemic?
Well, the protocols that's been followed by any place or any area or even government sectors, they're trying to make sure that people with appointments that's coming to their business or taking care of things, they're not overloaded. And same thing with other areas like, for example, if you have like a supermarket or you have a store or something, you have to make a regulation, rules for people, how many people they should be in this area. So we're trying to advise people and tell them to stay away from crowded area. And if you have to go to a place and you think it's going to be very crowded, then try to change your mind, unless if you absolutely have to, just like people who get really sick and they have to go to the hospital. Even inside the hospitals, I've noticed that our hospitals like Mubarak Hospital, Adan Hospital, and all the other hospitals, they try to separate people and try to keep distance between them as much as they can.
So the pandemic, how did it affect your workflow? I mean, things are really still very difficult. The numbers are very high.
That's true. Our workflow has been overloaded, and our personnel as paramedics and EMTs have been working most of the time. Let's say our job is 24 hours, but still in those 24 hours before this pandemic, we used to work maybe 12 or 13 or 14 hours a day. Now they are actually working the 24 hours and more. So it's been overloaded. The people are overtired. We don't regret anything, and we're not complaining. This is our duty and this is our job, and we love to do it, and we love to help other people and be there for them. But it's been a long time, as you know, Mr. Tareq. It's been about 10, 11 months now, non-stop.
Yes,
people been working, and people getting sick actually. Also, from our side, they get infected, they get sick, they get hospitalized, they go to ICU. We've lost some of our people during this pandemic due to COVID-19, and we hope that everybody take it seriously and listen to the rules and regulations and try to fight this pandemic and try to fight this virus, and hopefully, inshallah, in a matter of time, we'll get over it, inshallah.
Inshallah, we'll get through this, all of us together, and you and your colleagues doing an amazing job. Frontliners, we appreciate your fine efforts that you're all doing. We'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Usama Yusuf.
Thank you for having me on your program.
It's a pleasure to have you. You're the head of the Public Relations and Coordinating Emergency Medical Department at the Ministry of Health. We thank you for your fine efforts. Right now we're going to move on to our next report and take a look at the Kuwait walking fans. Let's take a look at this report.
Good morning, my name is Najla Al-Husseini. I have been walking for more than 20 years. We started as a small group. Over the year, other people joined us and we became a community. As a community, we trained every day. One of the main advantages to walk in a community is to be consistent and to have people around us to give us motivation and support. I'm gonna explain now the right way of walking. I'm gonna give you some tips. First of all, keep your chin up. your head up, your shoulder open, your back should be straight, and you have to move your arm, you have to use it. More you move it, more your speed will be faster. And don't forget, keep your knees straight and you land on your heel. This is the right technique how to walk. As you can see, my friend behind me, they're gonna give you a small demonstration. We have to use our hands because it gives us a more speed. Walking outdoors has many benefits on our health. The benefits are physical and mental. The physical benefits, it helps to maintain a healthy weight, to control our blood sugar, and to lower our cholesterol level. Mental health, it has a huge impact on our mental support. Walking or exercising in general, it's a free antidepressant. You don't need money for walking outdoors. You just have to choose that time that suits you properly. And try to enjoy the weather now in Kuwait. You can walk in the morning to enjoy the fresh air. You can walk at noon to take advantage of the sun and to get some vitamin D. And you can walk at night to enjoy the sunset. So let's go walk together. It always starts from one step.
Good morning. My name is Hani Marcos. I'm a member of a group. We call ourselves the Kuwait Walking Fans. This group was founded 10 years ago by a visionary, the late Dr. Abdurrahman Al-Awadi. He was a former Minister of Planning and Health. He has a vision of spreading the walking culture throughout Kuwait society. He had a dream of having a walking track in every Kuwaiti neighborhood to spread the culture of walking. Actually, he started this group with a lot of people like Abdel Sattar al-Shimari, Hassan al-Aidan, Captain Mahmoud Sabri, Captain Basil Hemsi, and many others. Throughout the last 10 years, we worked in association with many Kuwaiti governmental authorities, like the Authority for Public Authority for Health, and we participated and organized many walking events throughout the last 10 years. And we have so many achievements, like the achievement that Captain Mahmoud Sabri has prepared a book documenting 25 years of walking in Kuwait, documenting all the races, all the events related to walking.
Well, with those walking enthusiasts, we come to the end of tonight's episode of Hala Kuwait. It's a good time to get out and get some walking and exercising in. The weather outside is amazing these days. I'll be seeing you tomorrow with another episode of the program. So until then, make sure to take care of yourselves and each other, and let's always remember to respect one another. Have a nice evening, and good night for now.